Welcome back, everyone. We've all heard of yoga, right? And I love doing it, but what do you know about JOGA? Fitness writer, athlete, and entrepreneur Jana Webb joining me live via Zoom from Florida to talk more about this new system used by athletes. Welcome, Jana.
Hi, I wish I was in Florida, but I'm actually in Toronto.
Oh, Toronto. Okay, totally different place, different country. Okay, let's talk about JOGA. Why did you decide to create something like this?
Yeah, so I was an athlete growing up, and I was injured years ago and was told to do yoga to help rehab an injury. And I would say I was that typical athlete in a yoga space trying to do positions and postures that my body had no business doing, in terms of, like, I have tight hamstrings and tight hips, but because I was an athlete and I'm used to being coached, I was doing whatever I was told, plus I was, copying the instructor, and I ended up hurting myself actually quite bad doing yoga, but it became like this love-hate relationship, and then I kept going back because as an athlete, I was never taught the importance of breath work and meditation. And so I became curious, and I was like, why isn't there anything out there for bodies like mine? And so for the last 17 years, that's my life's work. I've been bridging the gap between all the science and amazing things about yoga, but making it make sense not only for how athletes move, but for the culture of sport.
I love that, for athletes, bridging the gap to yoga. You say there are 3 pillars to remember. What are they?
Yeah, so the first one is the physical pillar, and I always give this differential of a yoga posture. So for example, you've probably seen this posture, right? It's called tree posture, it's in yoga, and then I will explain it in a way, have you ever seen a basketball player, a football player stop mid-court and do a posture? No, but what you might see is that athlete jumping off one foot, right, with one leg behind them, trying to catch the ball, and their head's over here and their backhand's over here. And so the physical pillar of yoga very much emulates the biomechanics of sport. So I study biomechanics, how athletes move and train, and apply those movement principles to the work that they're already doing. So it then isn't foreign to their bodies. It makes sense cohesively to their nervous system and how they're already training.
So that's so interesting. You're adapting to the athlete. The athlete already knows these poses, but maybe saying that there is a similarity to yoga. How have you seen this transform athletes and help them?
Yeah, so, we're that little bit of edge. So I talk about the kinetic chain a lot. So that, these athletes have been training their skills and drills since they're like 3-4 years old, right? And they've been in the weight room, they've been doing their, all their coaching outside of their sport. And what yoga is we really fill that space of like the small muscle group. So we take out the quads and we take out the glutes and we look at all the stabilizers around the ankles and the knees and the little muscles, right? That usually get ignored, and usually when they get ignored cause injury. And so really where we're changing the game in sport is it has become an injury prevention technique, because we're doing all the nuanced things in terms of blending neuromechanics and biomechanics. And then bridging that, of course, with the breath work and the meditation piece. So it's this whole 360 holistic approach to getting that athlete as healthy as they possibly can be.
Jana, this makes so much sense. Also, breathing is the foundation of yoga. Demonstrate a true, correct breathing method.
Yeah, so one easy one, and I give this to athletes because it's functional. So everything that we do has to make sense for in that moment. And you'll see my athletes before free throw, they take a deep belly breath. So it's an inhale through the nostrils, which activates these CO2 receptors, and then a longer exhale, making a ha sound. So literally it looks and sounds like this. But the key is that the exhale is longer than the inhale, and that the exhale is actually a ha sound, so phonetic ha sound. Those two things bridged together activate what's called that right brain function, that relaxation. So if they're in a state of stress, right, they can use that breath to activate both sides of the brain, so they have that calm kind of state of being before they take their free throw or their penalty shot, whatever it is. Yeah, and then we bridge that obviously with the meditation piece as well. And with our athletes, we talk a lot about stress. Like, they're stressed. They're playing 82 games a year, road trips, trying to manage family, trying to manage media. And then I'm trying to do all this work to get them into this calm cognitive state, but they're also drinking sugary caffeinated drinks to try to stay awake. And so I also start to talk about nutrition and what they're putting in their body. And so I'm always recommending green tea, and then if they don't want the caffeine, they can have the suntheanine, because it's got this like natural amino acid called suntheanine, which basically produces that alpha wave state, which is what I'm trying to do with the breathing and those meditation exercises. And so really the goal then is to get these athletes in this calm, clear state of being so they can sleep, they can regenerate, and they have that sustainability to get up and do their job again the next day, the next season, the next 5 years, whatever it is.
Yes, a total focus and wholeness approach. Jana, where can we find more information?
Yeah, so jogaworld.com is the global website, and I'm on Instagram under Joga Jana.
Thank you, Jana, so much for your time. We are back with more G2 after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up on the next